Hey there, good morning. It is Thursday, March 6th, and welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett on News 6 Plus. I'm Bridgett Ellison. Good to be with you this morning. We are excited about a cool start. We're going to check in with Candace in a second. We also have a live interview that will help you on that fitness journey because we'll be talking to a certified trainer about strength training and why it's so important in disease prevention. So that is coming up this morning. But first, let's get you ready to head out. You might want to grab a little sweater, maybe a light jacket. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Pinpoint Weather Center with us this morning, and it's a little breezy too, Candace. You joked that this might be your last sweater until later this year.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, should I wear a sweater? I'm like, you know what? Candace in a couple of weeks and go, man, I should have worn that sweater. I should have really embraced the cooler air while
The
I've got
last of
it.
the sweater
Um,
weather.
exactly. And we're going to continue to see even colder weather tomorrow. So if you didn't think about sweaters this morning, you'll need it early tomorrow morning. We're going to get even colder. It's always that second night behind a cold front that here in Central Florida, we tend to see kind of the coldest of the
Mm-hmm.
air. So let's take it to the maps to show you what's going on. Ta-da! It's a lot of dry air, like tons of dry air. And all of that is going to continue to filter through Central Florida. The moment we have this much dry air in place, it's really going to zap any real rain chances, but also zap out any moisture, any bit of moisture in the air. Look at the temperatures right now. Not only is it very dry out there, it's cool. Right now, we are starting off in those 40s and 50s across Central Florida, where yesterday we were closing in on 70. Now, right now, we're running between about 15 up to 20 degrees colder this morning than yesterday, but it was just a breezy day as well yesterday. It was just that the winds were coming in out of the south. Now that the winds are coming in out of the north, it's noticeably colder. As you can see right now, our winds have been clocking over 30 miles per hour, gusts up over 30 in areas of Orlando, up and down the coastline as well. This is going to be the big story throughout the day. It's just going to be how windy it's expected to be. So we got the wind, we got the cool air. We're also going to dry out the air as well. Humidity numbers, especially throughout the day, drop considerably. But kind of the lowest humidity time is normally in the middle of the afternoon as we have a lot of that sunshine, help us dry us out a little bit. But we're going to really dry out this afternoon. Notice your relative humidity is down to the 20s. That's the percentage. That's extremely low. So because we have that combination of very windy weather and very low humidity, we do have a red flag warning in effect. This doesn't mean that fires are sparking everywhere, but if we do have a, a spark, whether it's someone throwing out a cigarette butt, if it's someone doing a pile burn, if it's a controlled burn or prescribed burn, the conditions that we are experiencing today will make fire activity and the personality of the fire to move kind of dramatically. So that is why we have this red flag warning, or also known as fire weather warning, in effect until 6 p.m. Just to be aware that that's going to be the biggest concern. Other than that, though, taking away the fires, the weather is going to be fantastic. Temperatures are going to be back into the upper 60s, still tons of sunshine in the forecast. Then later on tonight, those clear skies are going to allow those temperatures to drop even further, Bridgett. We're down into those 30s and 40s, almost area wide, with the exception of you guys in Brevard County, still in those near 50-degree mark there. It's time for your forecast because it's golf. I did that for Steve just to hear his eyys roll.
I get it. I like it.
Temperatures that Thanks, I appreciate it. Temperatures as we head into the weekend for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. It's looking good today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Now, Sunday, you notice there's a rain chance there. As of right now, some of the models are actually holding the rain back a little further, possibly looking at the rain. You can see there, not even arriving until early Monday morning. So we're going to have to continue to kind of iron out those details, but it might be soggy night Sunday, soggy morning Monday. So we'll have to wait and see as of right now. If you have tickets and you're planning on going to the Arnold Palmer Invitational, I think you're good to go. Throughout the majority of the Invitational all weekend long. And don't forget, we do need to spring that clock forward 1 hour as you go to bed Saturday night. And I'm actually writing up a web story right now talking about, one, what red flag warning is, two, how our drought monitor is shaping up this time of the year, but also the beginning of daylight saving. Not only should we, as the wife of a firefighter, you need to be changing the batteries of your smoke alarms, number one. And number two, it's also the time of the year we can start watering your lawn twice a week. This Up to this point, you should have been only doing it once a week, Steve. But now we go up to 2 times a week. So there's a couple little housekeeping things that, are good things to keep in mind when you're moving that clock ahead 1 hour.
Yeah, it's an interesting debate too because every year this comes up and we talk about should we or shouldn't we continue doing it, and then when you look at sort of these maps of how the rest of the world responds to daylight saving, we're among 40% of the world still doing it, most of Europe and parts of South America. So it's interesting to see what could happen in the future, but for now, I
Yeah,
guess we'll
I
just,
mean,
it has its
when
pros
you
and
start
cons.
exactly, exactly. It has its pros and cons. And I think if there was more cons than pros or vice versa, the decision would have been easy. It's just kind of the way you look at it, whether it's after school activities or kids getting to the bus stop and it's still being dark as late as 8:30 in the morning. I don't know what that would do to our psyche, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's going to be something that we'll leave for the politicians to duke it out and figure it out. But locally here, we're springing forward, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you may have to vote on that soon, so we'll see. But we'll see.
We'll
Thank you,
see.
Candace.
Hmm. Sure.
All right, let's check in with Trooper Steve, and he's had quite the morning, but hopefully things will be cleared up soon. I don't know, but you have also something nice to get to too. Good morning.
Good morning. So you choose. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's get the bad part out of the way first.
I like it. I like that. That's how I always go. Ended on a good note. So yes, we did start the morning off very busy, Bridget, and traffic is rather interesting there. So right on our map currently, I have no visuals anymore because Sky 6 had to land, and photojournalist Marcus, well, he's got other stories to cover. Eastbound Lee Road at Addison Street, just west of the I-4 area, still shut down this morning because of a police pursuit from Polk County. So as we're speaking here, the Florida Highway Patrol Public Information Officer, Miggy Garcia, she just sent out some information for us indicating that the sheriff's office in Polk County was pursuing a car. They asked FHP for assistance, and FHP, well, they jumped into it, and that went from all the way to Polk right here to Lee Road, and then a crash occurred when that vehicle decided to go the wrong way in traffic. So no fatals in this, but some serious injuries. But the area is in the process of getting cleaned up because last time I was down, I was looking at something. Tow trucks were on scene. So 3 cars will take a little bit. Eastbound 408 at Pine Hills. This is at the toll plaza. The 2 right toll entrance areas are currently blocked. So just be careful. The road rangers are there, but keep in mind if you have an e-pass, you can go through any of the toll booths and you'll be good to go. Up in Volusia, we had an earlier crash westbound that slowed us down at Dirksen. We're slowly getting a little bit better out there. And then Leesburg, a fatal crash 44 at Cypress Drive. So then we jump down to our attractions area just so we can check the box here. You're seeing that eastbound traffic pretty slow out there this morning. It's a beautiful day out there, Bridget. A lot of people are probably going to want to be driving around, headed maybe early out to the attractions. So just take it nice and easy because our attractions area, other than the traffic, there are currently no crashes out there, which is a good thing because I am going to be, in the next few minutes, traveling down to, I usually only go down there to visit my mom because traffic is always a mess. But I'm going to the Kissimmee Police Department, and I'm going to meet these 2 new puppies that they look at these
Oh my
faces, Bridget.
goodness.
Belle and Duchess. So they are the two newest additions to the Kissimmee Police Department. And you're probably looking at them going, okay, they're bloodhounds. So maybe helping in searching and things like, I cannot stop looking at
They're
those.
beautiful.
The wrinkles. The wrinkles do it for me with the bloodhounds because it's just like they look so like dopey, but they're cute. So in partnership with Senior Resource Alliance, they're going to introduce these bloodhounds, Duchess and Belle, along with their handlers. Now, the dedication event's going to happen at 10. Our live stream will happen at 10:30. These 2 girls are trained canines will assist in locating missing persons, including individuals with like autism, Alzheimer's, or dementia. So it's also going to be showing scent detection kits and things like that. So, Bridget, what do I mean by that? So if you have someone in your family or someone you know that suffers from it like that, Kissimmee Police Department is going to be providing a scent detection kit for your family so that if that family member was to go missing, you have that kit that you can provide the dog and law enforcement, and they know, boom, I'm going to go find them for you. And I think that, talk about modern day policing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
where were we
fascinating.
10 years ago? We would have never thought about anything like that just 10 years ago. And now a scent detection for a dog to come find your missing child or family member. Pretty crazy.
Right. There's so many ways to prepare now, and just that saves so much time that could really mean a difference between life and death.
Big time, big time. So join me today, please. 10:30, clickorlando.com, YouTube, the app, all the fun stuff. You know how I get with Dog Bridget, so I'll
I
probably be on the
know.
floor hanging out with girls.
I know,
So
right? You're like, can I
I'll
keep
be
them?
excited for that. Yeah, right. They're like, they'll be like, yeah, it's about $20,000 a piece, I'm sure. But
Belle and
yeah, so
Duchess.
that's at 10:30. Join me.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
see you
right.
then.
I'll see you guys then.
All right.
right.
Thank you, Steve. We do have some things to get to with the headlines this morning. We are following updates on the case of a missing Titusville woman. The 72-year-old has been missing now for about 48 hours. And our Mark Lehman is following the latest on the story. We know that the man who is accused of stealing her SUV and setting it on fire, he is actually a former corrections deputy. So Mark has more on the latest information in the case.
Are you going to hire an attorney, or do you want me to consider appointing public defender?
Public defender, please.
Former Brevard Corrections Deputy David Barber appeared before a judge Wednesday on charges of grand theft auto and prowling. It comes as there are a lot of questions about the disappearance of his ex-girlfriend's aunt, Jessie Kirk.
I had a chance to meet with the family and talk to the family, and of course they're devastated.
Neighbors at Kirk's condo complex tell us they didn't recognize Barber, who Titusville police say was lurking around the area with burns on his arm Tuesday. Around the same time, Kirk's Lincoln Navigator was found torched nearly 20 miles away. A witness reported seeing Barber driving the SUV earlier in the day. Kirk and her late husband were both philanthropists in Titusville, where she was a real estate agent for more than 5 decades. Barber was accused of stalking Kirk's niece after the two broke up last year. In December, he was arrested after police say he tried to get inside the apartment he once shared with his ex-girlfriend. As Barber has now been ordered to remain in jail, a search continues for Kirk. According to our news partner, Florida Today, detectives were in an area near the Haulover Canal, but have not confirmed any findings.
We'll be following for more updates throughout the day. You can see that here and on clickorlando.com, as well as News 6 at noon. Also this morning, new from overnight, we're waiting for more answers from Osceola County deputies about a death investigation near St. Cloud. We saw a large response last night along Zuni Road near the Ellington Place community. It happened just a few hours after the sheriff's office put out an alert about a missing 18-year-old woman in that area. So far, though, they have not confirmed if that's at all connected to this scene or anything else about what they were looking for, what they found, but we will let you know as soon as Osceola gives us more details on that. Also this morning, we're following the latest on the measles and cases that have been popping up across the country, and now one in Miami-Dade County. Our Angie Casada has more about why health officials are concerned.
With COVID here, flu here, and now measles, it is concerning that our kid could fall sick.
Florida health officials confirming a high school student in Miami-Dade County was diagnosed with measles, marking the state's first case of the year.
It's really easy to catch. I mean, really easy to catch. So it spreads like wildfire in people that don't have immunity. So how do you get immunity? Well, I got measles when I was a kid, so I have immunity. But the other way to get immunity is to get vaccinated.
But across Central Florida, kindergarten vaccination rates have fallen, with just one local county, Sumter, above the 92% doctors recommend to prevent outbreaks.
This whole thing about measles vaccine is totally different. It's been around for 60 years. And we know that there are very few vaccine reactions compared to how many kids really get bad. Risk versus benefit.
Symptoms start with a high fever, cough, and runny nose, followed by a rash. Severe cases can lead to hospitalization or even death.
And we'll be following that one as well. We're also keeping up with the pushback for the closing of the Rockledge Hospital. Orlando Health purchased this hospital and recently said that it is in such a state of disrepair it would be too expensive to renovate, and so they want to close it. Neighbors nearby are very concerned about what options they'll have for medical care if this hospital closes, and it's also getting the attention of local leaders who want to try to postpone this closing to figure out a workaround.
Our city council people, our residents, are all very concerned at the announcement and then the quickness with which this hospital system is wanting to close this facility.
Our news partners at Florida Today also report that House Majority Leader Tyler Sirrah had a meeting this week with top executives at Orlando Health to talk about delaying this closure. He says he got no commitment yet, but tonight's special meeting is scheduled for 6:30 to talk more about this. The latest in space news this morning, a history-making moment set for today on the lunar surface. We've been telling you about Athena. An Intuitive Machines lunar lander is set to touch down on the moon, and these are new photos of the surface of the moon taken from cameras on Athena. That's the South Pole area there. And the spot where the lander will touch down, if it goes as planned, is set to land on the moon around 12:30 this afternoon. And we'll bring that to you if it happens right here and on clickorlando.com. And we're also following some more space news. The Dragon capsule. The Starliner astronauts have been in space nearly a year now. You know that wasn't exactly what was planned, but they are a step closer to getting home to Earth. Their ride home arrived at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, and this is the next SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft, expected to launch Crew 10 to the ISS next week, and they'll switch places with Crew 9, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, of course, waiting to fly back to Earth. And they were supposed to spend just about a week or so at the ISS last June, and then issues with Boeing's Starliner forced them to stay there at the ISS until they could hitch a ride back. So we'll keep you updated on those developments as well. We're going to take a quick break. We will be back with a live interview about strength training and how it can help prevent your risk of disease as well as your chances of beating it if you do get sick. We'll be right back. All right, good morning. We're back this morning with a live interview, and we want to talk about strength training and its benefits in preventing and beating cancer. With us this morning, Alyssa Mosca, a trainer with Planet Fitness. Good morning, Alyssa. Are you on mute? Let's see. I see you. I don't hear you yet. Let's see. I think we lost your audio there. We see you, though. Is there anything possibly turned off? No, microphone's on. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what's happening there with that. We're working on it. No. Do you want... Try to call right back. We're going to take a quick story break here. Try to call right back and we'll see if that connection brings your sound back in. Okay. But again, we're going to try to talk about that and why the strength training has so many benefits if we can get Alyssa back this morning. But also this morning, speaking of health, cervical cancer screenings apparently are down. Health experts say that it's important that you have these screenings, but they have been down since the pandemic and have not rebounded. And they say that's around 14% of women being screened, and that is below what it ought to be.
Some of the research points to reducing knowledge among women about the need for cervical cancer screening and fewer recommendations to be screened by physicians.
Yes, and so this is something that guidelines from the American Cancer Society recommend women start getting screened for cervical cancer beginning at age 25. And then depending on your age, your risk factors, you're going to have those screenings every 3 to 5 years now. So it's not an annual thing, but definitely something to stay on top of, just like some of the other screenings that we've talked about before that sometimes people are skipping. But anyway, we want to get back to talking about health when it comes to strength training and cancer prevention. And we have Alyssa back with us. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, excellent.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about this with you because there have been some studies that have shown that you increase your risk of surviving cancer even by 40% by strength training.
Yes, absolutely. Strength training has so many benefits, just overall health and fitness in general, but especially when it comes to somebody who's dealing with cancer. When you focus on things like enhancing your muscle mass and your strength, That makes your body a little bit more resilient to handling diseases, and it helps regulate things like your metabolism, inflammation, immune function. Strength training can also help with insulin sensitivity, so it helps improve that and glucose regulation. So, especially for somebody who's dealing with cancer, strength training improves how the body processes the glucose, which helps to lower those insulin levels as well.
That's really fascinating. And so when we think about someone who is battling cancer, a lot of times their immune systems may be compromised and they might be weakened at the time. So how can they sort of still try to get some strength training in there, even if maybe the energy might not be there, or they're worried about, exposure?
Yeah, great question. So anyone who's dealing with any type of immune compromised situation, Planet Fitness really focuses on its overall cleanliness. So that's something that we really try to put forth in our practice. So we do keep clean facilities. We do regulate our cleaning with our staff as well. But anybody who's looking to really start and just kind of continue their overall improvement through their process, we have machines, we have dumbbells, we have Smith machines. Any of those would be great to start with, but even just a little bit of movement for a consistent period of time will help the body to regulate those different things that it's dealing with during this time.
Mm-hmm. And is this something that maybe more physicians are prescribing as sort of part of their treatment plans?
Yes, absolutely. I can't speak for medical professionals themselves, but I can say that we do see a lot of members coming in saying that they're dealing with cancer recovery. They just got out of chemo, even dialysis. We've had a lot of members come in, and once they start their strength training routine, you see a drastic improvement in their overall numbers. Strength training also helps to regulate your hormones and keep them balanced, which helps reduce the risk of obesity, enhances your treatment tolerance to chemo. Because again, things like chemo can help, they start to fatigue your muscles and you start to experience muscle loss. So the more that you practice strength training, the more your body's going to have an easier time recovering from it.
And this is really something at all ages that should be happening, because you lose muscle mass just as you age as well, healthy or not. But there's also that component of maybe people who haven't always had this part of their routine. How can they start, and how can they make sure that, they're doing things the right way so that they don't, cause any injuries or any other complications?
Absolutely. We have trainers on facility in most of our gyms, and we also have a lot of workouts on the app if a facility doesn't have a trainer. But those trainers are specifically trained to help in these situations. It's not just giving basic guidance. It's people who have gone through their certification process so they can help somebody who has a medical condition, they're dealing with osteoporosis, anything along those lines. But the trainers are always available for any questions that anybody has.
And for someone who might not know, because everyone may not necessarily be a gym person, there's a difference between strength training and, say, muscle building or bodybuilding.
Correct. Yes. There's a big difference for it. There's also a big misconception with strength training, especially for women. Anybody who starts a strength training journey, you're just focusing on overall health. You're really improving your muscle adaptation. You're focusing on keeping your joints moving in a better plane of motion so that you can do everyday things in life better. But bodybuilding is a totally separate sport, and that's something that people really have to focus on in order to build that level of muscles. But when you want to just incorporate a regular strength training routine, coming in and doing machines or incorporating 20 minutes of cardio mixed with some dumbbell work, you're doing wonders for your body.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a big time consuming thing. So you're saying at the least a few times a week, and maybe like half an hour, or what would you say would be like the recommended sort of to get started?
Absolutely. 3 times a week for 30 minutes to 45 minutes is a great place to start. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overexert yourself, especially for somebody who is going through the process of cancer treatments or anything medical related. You don't want to overexert your body, but you do want to keep it moving so that the blood flows in the right way. The muscles are adapting to any new strain that it may be accepting.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so how can we get more information about, trying to maybe get an evaluation or get a trainer to sort of get a plan together?
Sure. You can go into any Planet Fitness and anyone behind the desk will be happy to help you. The trainers are always available for questions that you may have during the day, and as well as the Planet Fitness app. You can always use that as well.
All right. Trainer Alyssa Mosca from Planet Fitness. Thanks for being with us this morning. Thanks for the info.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Take care.
You too.
Also this morning, we talk about health. We also like to talk about food. I know I do. And it wouldn't be breakfast without talking about food, right? But we have some different things happening at News 6. And so our Matt Austin has been showing you some great restaurants that are along that I-4 corridor that you might want to check out. And our Insider Guide morning anchor, Crystal Moyer, has more on some deals some of those restaurants are offering you.
Hey foodies, ready to leave your kitchen, those leftovers, and embark on a culinary journey through Central Florida? I'm News 6 anchor and Insider Guide Crystal Moyer, and just in time for spring break, we've got some deals for local restaurants exclusively for our insiders. We showed you some unique food spots with our I-4 food tour series.
Smell that?
Anchor Matt Austin got to try the signature dishes from several eateries, everything from Colombian cuisine, authentic Indian dishes, Philly cheesesteaks, and unique Mexican seafood with a popular dish that had him asking,
how do I eat this? What do I do?
We want you to get in on the I-4 food tour and satisfy your cravings with some savings. We've got insider exclusive deals on clickorlando.com/insider. Look for this article. Just show the coupon on your phone or print it out and take it with you. You can also check out Matt's experiences at the local restaurants on the insider page. There you'll find all of the short videos. I do want to warn you, it'll give you quite the appetite. It's all free for our News 6 insiders, and if you're not already part of the club, what are you waiting for? It only takes a moment to sign up. I'll see you at clickorlando.com/insider. From the News 6 Cafe, Crystal Moyer, getting results, News 6.
All right. We do love a deal, so make sure you check that out. We're going to be out of time right now, but we'll see you again at noon. Hope you have a great day.